Hi, thank you for joining us. This is Be Civil Podcast. My name is Matt Sutherland. This is my good friend, Juan Carlos Azanza. He and his husband, Gilbert Broca, they've been coming to me for haircuts for about a year now, right?
Yeah.
About a year. And they're just awesome guys. They're just so positive. They bring a smile on my face, and they give me a great day every time they come here. So, just want to thank you, Juan Carlos, for coming and being on the show. So Juan Carlos and I feel like we have something in common, something that we really like, and but a lot of people don't really suspect it from us because they're like, oh, you're not this type of person. But we're big lovers of metal music. Yeah. We love metal. And I feel like that's one thing that has really, been it's just been something that we both enjoy and we both talk about when you come here for your haircut appointments.
Yeah.
And tell me when. How did you discover metal? How did metal come into your life?
It's funny because it was during high school actually, and I've always loved music. Any type of genre, pretty much. But what I loved about metal was it was so cathartic. It's like the music and the lyrics to it. I like metal, but it's not that I know a lot about metal bands either. You know about this, but Metallica was it's always been my favorite, but
Metallica.
And but yeah, it all started in senior year and then in college.
Uh-huh.
I'm not in my 40s, and you're my fix. Here's the only place where I actually listen to metal while you're doing my haircut.
Yeah, we usually listen to metal pretty much. Full blast. We have to be like, what? Every time he comes to get a haircut, that's that's a big time that I listen to metal as well. I like all types of music. I grew up playing metal, and I grew up in the metal scene and bands and stuff like that. But my ear and my palette is just very wide and diverse, and I like to listen to all types of music. And I feel like when you come here, it's one of the times where I know I'm listening to metal, But we're not doing it right now for the sake of the show. Yeah. But usually there's a lot of rocking going on in here.
No, that's true.
When you get your haircut.
And here actually, I've actually learned different things about metal, about the bands, different bands, and also the different music that they're still putting out there. Because again, I don't follow it as much nowadays, but I love it here. Yeah.
So you said that you got into metal in around your senior year.
Yeah, senior year in high school, and
what year was that?
1995.
95.
Yes.
Okay, so you got into what was the band that was Metallica that did it for you?
Yeah, it was Metallica. It was I can't remember. It was actually 95 or 96, but it was Wherever I May Roam, I remember was
oh yeah, I love that song.
That song.
That's one of my favorite Metallica songs, actually.
That one and The Unforgiven and
Unforgiven.
Or Whom the Bell Tolls.
I remember that time when we listened to all three. I didn't even know there were 3 Unforgiven songs.
That's what I was saying. That
crazy.
You're my fix because I didn't even know that they have a third one. So
we listened to all 3 one day. Yes. We were like, oh man, we were listening to Unforgiven. Then I was like, oh, have you ever heard Unforgiven 2? And then we found out that there was an Unforgiven 3, and we listened to that, and we were like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So senior year. So you're originally from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yes.
Which my wife is Puerto Rican and my daughter is Puerto Rican as well. So, where in Puerto were you living in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
At the time?
I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Yeah, okay. And I went to high school and college in Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
And I actually moved to the States when I met Gilbert. But all my life, born and raised in Puerto Rico until 2007 when we moved.
So when you got into Metallica in Puerto Rico, like was there like a metal scene where like you could go to like local
Oh yeah, yeah.
shows and stuff like that?
There was, but I was not. I mean, I had a couple of friends. We would listen to music, and I mean, in college, and but there were concerts, and there was a scene, but it's I was not the type of guy that would go to a lot of concerts. Where I was not in the scene of metal. It was more when we hang out with friends. I mean, that's where we'll be playing, and at home I would be listening to it as well. I mean, at the time I did a lot of I would do painting and art, and that was the type of music that I would listen to when I was doing it.
Oh,
Just
that's
to
awesome.
yeah to divorce from reality for a little bit, you know. And,
That's awesome. I didn't know that you were an artist as well.
yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not that I dedicate my life to it, but yeah, I mean, when I was growing up in high school and college, I did a lot of dancing too. But
Uh-huh.
so whenever we would do talent shows or shows in Puerto Rico, I mean, I would do the scenography. So that's when I started getting interested in art and painting and all of that. But yeah, so but I was not that big in the concerts or because Metallica, I cannot even remember that they went to Puerto Rico at that time. I mean, in the '90s.
Uh-huh.
But but yeah, I mean that was my therapy. I would say it was very cathartic to me, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And sometimes I would get looks from people like, "You really like that?"
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just like some people like it, some people don't, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of people see rage behind it, but I don't. I mean, to me, it has more of a calming effect, I guess. It's more
Yeah.
immersive for me.
Definitely. Definitely. I experienced a lot of what you experienced as we're talking. We had a very similar experience the whole way around with metal. I used to draw a lot as well. Like
Oh, you did?
I was known as like an artist in school. Like that's pretty much what people knew me as, and
Wow.
that's what I wanted to do with my life. Actually, I wanted to be like an illustrator. Um, and Around the 12th grade, actually, maybe the summer before the 12th grade, I got into my first band, and
Wow.
it was a metal band. And before then, though, I would do the same thing. Like I would draw and just kind of get lost listening to metal. And it was a like you said, it brought me a feeling of uh, like a release.
Yes.
It was like a release, and like it calmed me. It made me feel like it also made me feel like a lot of the lyrics. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. You know, like
True. True.
I had a pretty like tumultuous childhood growing up, and for me, especially when I joined the metal band and I was doing a lot of screaming and I was like jumping around on stage, and for me it was like a really great outlet also for the things that I was going through at the time,
I see.
or like it was kind of like a processing thing for me, and it was just a great outlet for me. It was exactly what I needed. So I'm so grateful for that type of music, and I'm so grateful that I got to partake in playing the music as well. Um, but yeah, I find it really interesting that we both had a very similar
Yeah.
experience like that. And then, so like you said as well, a lot of people, they look at you and they'd be like, "Oh, you don't
Yeah,
seem like
stereotype.
you don't seem the type to listen to metal music." I think me at the time when I was in my bands and everything, when I was playing metal, I especially early on, I think I kind of like I just went in head first, and I was like very much looking like someone in the scene.
Yeah.
But like people could tell because I was wearing I was wearing the shirts, and I also had like red hair, and
I had blue shades.
I would do like the black fingernails and chains, and I was total like goth, metal, punk kid, So like, So like, but after that, like as you get, as we kind of like phased out of the extreme look. I would still like, even now these days, I'll wear my band t-shirts and stuff like that, and I have tattoos, but I think a lot of people have tattoos these days, so
regardless of metal,
so like, I don't necessarily look like a metalhead. I think if you talk to me and like you look at me and it kind of adds up now, but like now people look at me and they're like, oh, you do not seem or look like the type of person that listens to metal. And it's like, what is that type of person?
Exactly. Yes.
Like, I mean, I guess there's a stereotype, and I think for me also as well, people would look at me and being a person of color, they'd be like, you don't look like you listen to metal because you're a person of color, because you're black. So I'm just like, to me, that always, I actually, what it made me do is it really made me appreciate a lot of the, like black artists, especially like the singers, like that one. Like my favorite band is this band called Seven Dust. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I have not, no.
But the singer is black. His name is LaJohn Witherspoon. They're like my favorite metal band, hands down. And then do you remember Killswitch Engage?
I don't know if I can tell.
All right, well, Killswitch Engage, they were, they are. They're still going. They're an amazing metal band, but one of their frontmen, he was black as well. So, and I actually tried out for that band.
You did?
Yeah, I tried out for him in New York. And Jesse Leach, the founder of the band, he came back. He took my dream spot. But so it's a thing where it's like, do you fit the right identity? Do you fit the right persona? And it's like, I feel like metal is it's a music where a lot of people, I think there's more types of, a more diverse set of people in metal now, as far as like the fans and the people that create the music. But what I want to ask you is, what was it like being a gay man in the metal scene? Like
that's really interesting.
Had you already like had come out around that time?
No, not really. And I mean, it was not. I mean, I was not out at the time, and but again, I mean, listening to the lyrics of it, I get. I mean, you can identify with so many things, but as a gay man, I've always, I mean, the way that I was raised in my house, it's regardless whether you're straight or gay, just be at peace with who you are, and I mean, appreciate what you are and what you have inside of you and what you have to offer. So,
right,
I mean, to me, that was never an issue really, and actually, I mean, it really did help me coming to terms with who I am. But
how did it help you?
Well, I mean, you mean metal or?
Yeah, like how did metal? Like, what role did metal play in like you like say like coming to terms with being gay, coming out?
Well, I mean, I don't know that metal was the decisive point, but I mean, it was just it helped me get immersed in my world, and and that was the thing. I mean, when I was growing up, and I mean, I had a twin brother, but our lights were.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you did? Yeah,
that's awesome.
But we're fraternal twin brothers. I mean, we don't even look alike, and but I mean, we had very different likes. I mean, he was all into sports. I was more into the arts. Our type of musics were completely different too. He was more into, I mean, the '90s rock at the time, but nothing metal or anything like that. But I mean, it was what I liked about it. It was the music and myself. It was just my little world. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I like it. It helped me. It was more of a not meditation, but it was a time where I would listen to it and just go with the flow. And
right. Do you think it helped you like process like any type of like like frustration from like
Oh yes,
society, or
yes,
like
yeah.
help
Oh
you kind of
yeah.
like vent
I
your
mean, like you
emotions.
said, it helped me deal with not feeling lonely. That I was not the only one going through whatever I was going through at the time.
Yeah.
And and I don't know, I mean, but every time I listen to it, for example, the first time I remember listening to Wherever I May Roam, I fell in love with it because of the acoustics of it, and the
Uh-huh.
music. But then as you keep on listening to it and listening to it, you discover new things. It's like when you read a novel. I mean, or when you read something, you just stay one point, but then when you go back to it again and again, you discover new things. Like, oh my god, I didn't even know about that. And that's true with any type of genre. But what I like about metal is that it's so on your face, so strong, and people can sometimes take the uh, I don't know. I mean, they have a misconception of it, but when you dig deep inside, I mean, in the end, it's just another type of outlet, another type of music. And yeah, I always say, I mean, whatever helps you clear the fog out of your head.
Yeah. Metal to me is, uh, I feel like a lot of people look at me and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you listen to metal because you're so calm, you're so like,
Yeah,
you're such a like nice guy." I think a lot of people associate metal with like violence
exactly. That's
and
what
like,
they associate it with. Yeah,
maybe hatred or like evil. But I think metal to me is just like a very deep music. A lot of the lyrics are very deep. Like the song you're talking about, Wherever I May Roam, that is, one day I listened to that song and I listened to the lyrics and I heard them and they just hit me differently. And I was like, wow, these lyrics are very, I feel like it's about a person that like really lives that like unbridled,
yeah.
like no boundaries, like they believe that anything is possible, and they feel like a sense of power like wherever they go.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's what I listened to that song one day and it hit me differently, and I was like, and this was I remember it was 2020 when I heard the song. I was listening to it. I was actually I was making a garden. I remember. I had a little backyard in New York, and I was making a garden, and I was listening to that song, and I was like, "Whoa, these lyrics are amazing!" Like, um, it just totally hit me in a different way, and yeah, I feel like metal is just it's a genre for people that are really like living, or that really can go into like a very deep place
Deep
and a
place,
very dark place.
and they're very good listeners.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's true.
definitely. And just because it's a dark place doesn't mean it's a place that we shouldn't go. Like I feel like a lot of the times in life we find the light in the darkness.
Completely, and just because it's dark does not mean doesn't necessarily need to carry a negative connotation to it. Because I mean, in the
Exactly.
darkest moment is when you find the light that can guide you or whatever you need to. Not necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like it truly is. I mean, in the end, it's kindness, what people want, and acceptance too. And I always say it. Yeah, I mean it. One of the things that I really like about it is when people write their own songs and people talk about their own experiences. And this not necessarily just it's 100% with metal. I mean, this happens with every genre. But but what I like about, for example, talking about that Wherever I'm in Rome, it's the way that the music starts with the instrumental part of it. Like it's like Indian music.
Yeah.
And the chords, and then it goes from one extreme to the other. It touches so many different emotions in one song.
Yeah.
And that's what I guess that's what I like about it. It's like reading a very good novel. It's like you go through so many emotions in just a 2 minute, 3 minute time frame.
Yeah. It takes you on a journey.
Completely.
It starts in a very kind of like dark, eerie type sound. Even like you said, that Indian kind of sitar sound. It's still a very like it's still a very like kind of creepy, kind of like
yes,
a sound where you feel like, you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what's coming. That's true.
And then it gets more intense and the build up, and then boom, the guitars kick in and the drums are really heavy. And it's just like, it takes you on a ride, It starts kind of slow, like when you're going up a roller coaster, going.
That's true. It's like
and then you drop down and you go on this crazy ride, this extreme. And like, I feel like it says a lot about a person as well if like you are willing to go on that ride. I feel like metal fans are different people. Like, we're different people. Like, I feel like most metal fans that I've ever encountered are so kind, so so friendly, very like chill people. Even the ones that look, super extreme, that have like, the goth makeup and everything. Like, I feel like those people are usually very calm, chill people. I think a lot of it has to do with, just having that outlet and just exercising, that release, the headbanging, the moshing, that's all a release, and it's very healthy. And man, it's helped me out so much in life, and I'm just grateful for the type of music.
You said something, and it's true. It's the release of it. It's like cathartic. Yeah, it's the release of that energy. Yeah,
exactly. Well, that concludes our time here with Juan. I want to thank you so much, Juan. We're gonna go over and give you a shampoo and style, but before we do that, I just want to say thank you so much, because you're amazing, and I really appreciate you always for coming in here, brightening my day. You and your husband, Gilbert, and appreciate you guys.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
All right, thank you so much, metal fans. Horns up, and everyone out there, remember to be civil.